The script was the first thing I read, and without knowing who was attached or anything like that. I had been up for a film with Tony Goldwyn, and I really wanted to do a film with him because he's a great director. I loved his first film, Walk on the Moon. And then when the cast came on board, it was sort of a no-brainer. But before then, I felt that the script was, the role was kind of good. I could see a good three-dimensionality to it. It wasn't classic romantic comedy where you just know that you're going to hate that guy and that guy is going to be a good guy or whatever. It seemed a little, it's smarter and wittier and told from a female perspective in an interesting way. And, you know, us guys didn't get too much of a hammering, you know. Well, I mean, we all know it's a myth to think that all men are like that because most men are not nearly as confident as Eddie. But underneath that kind of Casanova slut is obviously something else going on. We all know that kind of guy who just can't commit for longer than 24 hours. There's some kind of fear of whatever it is. So that's what interested me and Tony when we looked at that character. In fact, I wondered when I first met him if he could be Australian. When I read him, I thought, oh my God, this is just, I know a lot of Australian guys like this. And we were going to play him Australian, but we didn't in the end. But ultimately, that kind of front of I'm a man and this is how I live, finding what's underneath is fascinating. The first day I met Ashley, she has this way of, she shakes your hand, she looks in your eye and says, it's good to know you. And she looks in your eye and first I was like, well, you don't know me. But the way she looks at you, you kind of get the feeling that she does. She really connects. And I think to be honest, her chemistry with Greg Kinnear, with Marissa Tomei and with Ellen Barkin is really good. And it's really testament to her. The film, she drives the film, she's the main part in the film. And she was incredibly generous and available, very playful. Every take was very different. And then it becomes easy. In terms of chemistry, we got lucky in that we're friends and we got on well. And particularly Greg, Ashley and I, we kind of hung out a bit together and we played a lot of games, charades, and it was a very light atmosphere on set, lots of joke telling, and it felt very easy. You can manufacture it, but we were just lucky that we kind of got on great. The whole scene, the Tarzan scene, the scene where we come out late at night into the kitchen, we're eating meatballs and noodles, going into the cheer that she does, was it was there on the script. But Tony, Ashley and I sat down and Ashley came up with the idea of doing the cheer. And then we kind of came up with this idea of the meatballs and the 24 hours before, just at lunch, sitting there. And then we had to go back and shoot something else. The next day, Ashley came out and had learned via tape from the University of Kentucky this whole cheer. And we just had a ball that day. And a lot of things were being changed and made up. And that was probably the best example of that. It was a lot of fun. I think it's probably there's nothing ultimately very new about it. It's terrific that it's told from a women's perspective and that the guys involved are not all stereotypes. So I think it's probably people will watch this movie. It's a great date movie and people watch this movie and go, yeah, I can relate to that. I know a guy like that. I know that. And women will watch Ashley's character and think, oh my God, I've been like that. It's very, I think, reminiscent of 50s kind of movies, that slightly older style and very sweet movies, very charming and very touching. So yeah, ultimately, I think it's a great movie. As an actor, you can only do so much. I mean, you're ultimately very dependent upon the director, of course. And Tony was very respectful of actors and really helped me with this role and in fleshing it out. And with X-Men, it was the same thing. I had a great role that was very well written. So you're very much limited by the script. And I think with both X-Men and this, I had good scripts and good characters to work with. So, and just lucky to be in the right position at the right time. I mean, people thought, oh, you walked into this role, but to be honest, after X-Men, I wasn't being handed a lot of roles. Before X-Men came out is when I auditioned for this. And there's lots of movies that have come out now that I auditioned for 3 or 4 times and didn't get. So I was just thrilled that the one I really wanted to do, I got. So it was always a little bit of luck.